An unspeakable tragedy unfolding in Texas, and a Michigan couple is among the victims.
Most of our church family is gone. Our building is probably beyond repair, and the few of us that are left behind lost tragically yesterday.
26 people dead after a man walks into a church and opens fire. And now we're learning dark new details about the shooter. Topping our news at 5, investigators are uncovering new clues about a possible motive behind Sunday's attack inside a Baptist church.
Let's get you caught up on the latest information. There's word a domestic dispute between the gunman and his mother-in-law may have played a role in this. She wasn't at church Sunday, but officials say she did attend the church and had received text messages threatening her from the shooter. Sarah Doloff is in Sutherland Springs, Texas. We'll get to her in just a moment, but first we want to start in Harrison in Clare County, where the family of the Michigan man killed is speaking. Let's listen.
Was, as far as I know, very liked in Harrison. He made people laugh. He was always making jokes and happy, and everybody liked him, as far as I know. And Shaney didn't come into the picture until their senior year. And Shaney was also a wonderful person, wonderful daughter-in-law, a wonderful mother. And I lived with them for a while in Texas, down there. I'd like to say a word to Pastor Frank Pomeroy. He's a wonderful man. And Pastor Frank, I'm so sorry about your daughter, and we're all praying for you too. And I just am very proud of my son. Has a lot of friends here in Harrison, and I understand that a lot of them are going to be here, and I thank you all.
How long did they live in Texas?
I am not sure. Him being military, he was at Wurtsmith first, and then he moved to Wichita Falls military base there in Texas, and then from there they were moved to Florida, and from Florida they went to Wright-Patterson in Ohio. And then they went from there to Offutt Air Force Base in Nebraska, where he retired. And they have 2 sons. And I just hope that people pray for his sons and the family. I'm very proud of Bob and Shaney both.
Where are the sons stationed?
One, I don't know the exact location. He's in Montana, and the older son is stationed in Okinawa, Japan.
What are they doing? How are the 2 sons doing?
You've been listening to the mother of Robert Corrigan, mother-in-law to Shaney Corrigan, talking about the loss of that couple, natives of Harrison, Michigan, both among those killed in that terrible shooting yesterday in South Texas.
Yeah, we have a lot of new details in Sunday's tragedy that are emerging tonight, including a possible motive for the shooting. Let's get to Sarah Doloff. She is in Texas tonight. Sarah.
Devin and Kimberly, good evening. Of the 26 killed, as many as 14 were children. Heartbreaking news in a grieving town. A small Texas community now searching for answers a day after a gunman opened fire on a church congregation, killing more than 24 and wounding 20. Many of the victims children, the youngest just 18 months old.
It's just very devastating. It's very shocking that something like this has happened.
Officials say 26-year-old Devin Kelly, dressed in tactical gear and armed with a semi-automatic rifle, opened fire from outside, then inside the church.
He was wearing a black mask that had a white skull face to it.
He was later confronted by an armed citizen as he fled.
This Good Samaritan, our Texas hero, flagged down another young man from Seguin, Texas, and jumped in his vehicle, and they pursued the suspect.
After a high-speed chase, it's believed the suspect committed suicide inside his vehicle where other weapons were found. Now, more is being learned about his troubled past. Kelly received a bad conduct discharge from the Air Force in 2014 and a court-martial in 2012 for assaulting his spouse and child. Officials say he also sent threatening text messages to his mother-in-law who attended the church, although she was not present Sunday.
There was a domestic situation going on within this family.
Among the victims was 14-year-old Annabelle Pomeroy, the daughter of the church's pastor, and his wife, who were out of town Sunday.
Now most of our church family is gone. Our building is probably beyond repair. And the few of us that are left behind lost tragically yesterday.
Now this small town left grieving the loss of so many friends and family in this tight-knit community. More than a dozen people remain hospitalized, 10 in critical condition. In Sutherland Springs, Texas, Sarah Dolph, Local 4.
All right, Sarah, coming up, Lester Holt anchoring NBC Nightly News live from the site of that church shooting there in Sutherland Springs. Also want to quickly mention there is going to be a vigil coming up here back in Michigan for the couple that we mentioned earlier from Harrison. That's at 5:30. We'll take you there when it occurs.
For the first time, we're seeing the moments that led up to a deadly shooting involving 2 employees at the Burlington Coat Factory in Taylor. Today, the woman charged with pulling the trigger appeared in court for a key hearing. Steve Garagiola is following this story for us tonight. Steve, she's headed to trial now.
Yeah, you know, Kimberly, I covered this the day it happened. At the time, we thought there's got to be more going on here, some kind of a long-running feud or bad blood between families. But nothing like that came out today. It appears this was an argument over pretty much nothing that has left one woman dead and now another charged with first-degree murder. On October 16th, Sandra Waller went to work at the Burlington store in Taylor with a gun and shot a co-worker, Lorraine Faison. Neither side disputes those facts. The question is, why did she do it? At this morning's preliminary hearing, a store manager testified the 2 women argued the day before about how to scan clothing, so she separated them and sent both home.
When she went back out to the floor, I was following a little bit behind. I was not right behind, but I could hear that they had started yelling again, so I told them to go home.
The next morning, Sandra Waller came to work with a gun. The most compelling evidence offered this morning was surveillance video of Waller entering a small break room at the store. At the doorway, she exchanged words with the victim, who shoved Waller. Waller then pulled her gun from her waistband and followed the victim. Waller's defense attorney argued the possibility of self-defense.
We also know, based upon what the testimony was we heard today, that there was a pair of scissors that was in fact close to the victim body at the time. This would indicate possibly that there may have been self-defense on behalf of Ms. Waller.
The defense attorney asked the judge to reduce the charge of first-degree murder. The judge denied that request, saying Sandra Waller had opportunity to retreat if she felt threatened.
She makes a decision at that time to pull her shirt up, retrieve a gun, and then chase after the person who just shot me.
So the first-degree murder charge will stand. Sandra Waller's next court appearance is later this month. Reporting live, I'm Steve Garagiola, Local 4.
All right, Steve. An overturned semi has now been on its side for several hours on westbound I-96.
You can see here the semi is blocking exit ramp 180 in Wayne County. It doesn't seem to be affecting traffic besides the closing of the exit. The semi was reported overturned about 1 o'clock today and is still there. It's not known how the truck was flipped or why it's taking so long to get that mess all cleaned up. The owner of a home in St. Clair Shores is okay tonight after a fire. It happened on E Street right around 11 this morning. Thankfully, the woman who owns the home was not home at the time. Her 2 cats did not survive.
Some scary moments in Canton this morning when an SUV and a school bus collided. Happened just before 7:30 this morning at the intersection of Warren and Lily Roads. Luckily, there was just one child inside the school bus, and that child fortunately not injured during the accident. The person driving the SUV did receive what were described us as minor injuries. An investigation underway in Hazel Park after thieves break into a restaurant. This was the scene overnight at the classic Coney Grill on DeQuinder, north of Woodward Heights Boulevard. The owner says the thieves made off with about $100. If you have any information on the crime, contact Hazel Park Police. Leaders in the legal field this evening are mourning the passing of a trailblazing federal judge, Anna Diggs Taylor. Judge Taylor, appointed to the federal bench by President Jimmy Carter back in 1979, later became the first black woman to serve as chief judge of the federal district court here in Detroit. She died over the weekend at an assisted living center in Grosse Pointe Woods. Judge Anna Diggs Taylor was 84 years old. If you have to fill up tonight, get ready for a little sticker shock. New here at 5 will show you what's caused gasoline prices to suddenly spike. Hi there, Ben.
Hey, Kim. Spike is not a word we've got in the forecast this week. We'll be in the 30s tonight. We may not get there for highs by the end of the forecast. More ahead.
All right, Ben. Also, a crash along the Q line. New tonight what happened along Woodward today that brought traffic there to a standstill.
Take a look inside of this apartment. Fire rips through early this morning, destroying it. But believe it or not, the two people inside of there are okay. It's an amazing story how people in this apartment building saved the others.
Tonight new at 6.
A mysterious organization is looking to build something big in one part of Oakland County. New at 6, what has neighbors so concerned? Plus, it's the biggest bang for your Black Friday buck. Help Me Hank reveals what two of the giants are planning in stores and online for the big shopping day. Already? Time. All right, next here at 5, take a look at this. Firefighters rushing to save lives and an apartment building in Fraser this morning. It happened at the Fraser Manor Apartments near Masonic in Utica, but as Nick Monticelli reports tonight, there's one man in particular most of the neighbors are thinking.
A pretty scary sight to see first thing in the morning.
I would imagine, though, all of this would be a scary sight no matter what time of day. But this fire at the Fraser Manor Apartments broke around 6 a.m., meaning many could have been sleeping. That's why Jack Kowalik ran door to door.
And they were like 20, 30-foot flames. They'd shoot under the balcony and then up above the building. And I started beating on doors and screaming fire.
So I ran, grabbed the cat, and threw her in my car.
My neighbor, Jack, was pounding on my door. Said, get out, there's a fire.
Karen Ryder lives next to the apartment that caught fire and knew she only had seconds to get out.
I just got up and head out the door, and it was already coming out of the apartment, out the window, the fire. But I guess I've lost mostly everything.
So here's the good news. This is Karen's apartments, and even though there is a whole lot of damage, we can kind of see it inside, and they will be able to salvage some things. And that's really a surprise considering that the fire started right next door, and that is what that apartment looks like. Firefighters can't say with 100% certainty, but they think careless smoking is to blame for this. Inside of the apartment that caught fire was an elderly woman and her son who rescued her.
Mother was not injured, but he had some burns, some pretty significant burns to his arms.
In Fraser, Nick Monticelli, Local 4.
The building has 12 apartments total. 2 of them are destroyed and 2 are damaged. If you haven't filled up for a while and you need gas, you're going to see that prices have spiked 20 cents a gallon in the last week. Statewide average now stands at $2.71 a gallon, 10th highest in the country, by the way. In Detroit, we're paying about $2.78 a gallon. To find the cheapest gas in the state, you got to go all the way up to Traverse City. By then, the cost probably would have been, yes, swallowed up. Yes, $2.61. AAA says the tighter supplies in the Great Lakes region to blame right now for higher prices. Of course. Holidays right around the corner, too. Yeah, and it's colder. Yeah. So here we are. Today felt like a classic fall day.
Yeah, and it may be the best one we have.
And this is as good as it gets.
Yeah, we are heading into winter a little bit early. But right now, the rain is not one of our concerns. You mentioned, of course, Election Day tomorrow. Cold's really the only thing you're going to have to contend with. There's some snow out to the west and showers to the south, and neither of those are headed towards us. The cold is a different story. In fact, currently right now we are in the 40s. We are below average for this time of year, 45, and already seeing the 30s show up there in Lapeer at 39. Huge difference, though, compared to this time yesterday when we were seeing much milder air and, of course, watching for those thunderstorms, but 15 to 20 degrees colder than what we saw on Sunday, and we're going down as we get later into the week. 45 of that current temperature, very light winds, so the wind chill's not going to be much of an issue tonight. Pressure's high and the air is dry, so that's going to keep us dry as far as precipitation goes for much of this forecast. We will have clouds to contend with for at least the early part of the week, but as that high gets closer to us on Wednesday, the sun comes out. Not really going to do any work for us. In fact, temperatures not going to feel a whole lot different, should be identical to what we have early in the week. Our one shot at rain during the work week shows up on Thursday. This front is working its way out of West Michigan, and yeah, there's a lot of snow behind that, but by the time that gets here, temperatures should warm up into the mid-40s in the afternoon, and a lot of that moisture is going to dry out as well, so maybe a sprinkle at best. And that's pretty much all we can say for precipitation this week. Here are the lows that we're going to wake up to tomorrow morning. Close to freezing in our metro zone, 33 there in Detroit. Some low 30s down here in our south zone, but with the clouds around, we're really not anticipating a big range in temperatures. These are generally going to be in the low 30s everywhere. West zone, we'll see a couple get down to 30 there in Flint and Fenton and Howell. Everybody else in the low 30s, and ditto for the north zone. So it looks like we'll escape the 20s for overnight lows tonight. Can't say that much as we get forward into the 7-day forecast. 47 in the afternoon, winds will remain light, and then those temperatures just keep dropping. There's your sore thumb on Friday. Look at those morning lows, 22 to start. That's likely going to be in the metro zone. We're looking at some teens for morning lows on Friday. High temperatures barely getting above freezing in the afternoon. At least it's going to be sunny. That's the best thing we can say about that. And then the weekend comes and a little bit better chance of rain, but temperatures warm back up. Average highs this time of year in the 50s, and you don't see that.
We're
Nothing
below
that
that.
No, not getting there at all.
Yeah.
No.
All right, Ben, let's check in with Dr. McGeorge.
Well, I've got another reason for you to get a flu shot this year. Head in good health, the hidden benefit in the vaccine that could keep you from catching something else beyond the flu.
All right, Frank, but first, a father's heartbreak as he comes face to face with the man who killed his 6-month-old son. And that's next. A Detroit man learns his fate.
Today, DeAndre Cootie was sentenced to a year in jail for his role in a car crash that killed a baby. Cootie pleaded guilty to failing to stop in an accident while at fault, resulting in death. His car broadsided a minivan on Detroit's west side this past spring. The crash killed 6-month-old Demetrius Brown Jr. The victim's father spoke in court.
If it was an accident, it's an accident, and I forgive him. But I won't forget, because that was my only boy. I don't have too much longer to live. I need a heart. And that was my first and only boy at the age of 51.
DeAndre Cootie will serve his sentence at the Wayne County Jail. Let's look at a number of stories making news from across the state. First off, the Capitol in Lansing, also following a tragedy tonight on campus at Michigan State.
But we want to start in Flint. That's where Michigan's chief medical executive faced the first day of a hearing tied to a Legionnaire's outbreak during the water crisis. Eden Wells is accused of delaying a public health warning about the Legionnaire's outbreak that killed 12 and sickened nearly 80 Flint residents. She faces several charges, including involuntary manslaughter.
Moving over to Michigan State, where a student struck and killed by a car last week has been identified as a Troy resident. Police say 23-year-old Ki-wook Kim, a graduate student, was walking near Saginaw Street and Park Lake Road just before 6 a.m. last Friday when he was hit by a car. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Police are not thus far discussing the details, but the MSU newspaper, the State News, reports that police said a vehicle involved did stop at the scene. And in Lansing, a grandfather's lucky numbers helped a woman win $158,000 in the Michigan lottery.
The 34-year-old Detroit woman bought her tickets at Kroger and Warren and matched all 5 numbers drawn to win the jackpot. She says she played a set of numbers that have been in her family for years. Her late grandfather was a lottery player, and he used to write his lucky numbers down on pieces of paper, and she kept those papers and used them herself. That's cute.
That's like an inheritance is the way that sort of worked out.
Exactly
nice legacy.
Right. Good for her.
All right, Blaine, what's coming up?
New at 5:30.
President Trump overseas but responding to the latest deadly mass shooting as some ask what can be done to prevent another one.
Well, you know that tomorrow is Election Day.
So easier for voters, easier for poll workers.
And in some local communities, they're rolling out hot new election day technology. We'll show it to you.
An accident out here this afternoon involving a car, a bus, and the queue line. It would appear Detroit drivers are still adjusting to these new guys on the road.
Real crap.
A crash along the queue line causes quite a mess. Now we're learning what caused it to happen and how it can serve as a lesson in the future. A security was rolling and captured the whole thing on Woodward and Canfield this afternoon.
We talked about the learning curve that there would be with the queue line. Let's bring in Steve Garagiola. The queue line streetcar didn't exactly cause this, though, correct, Steve?
No, just kind of caught up in the middle of it. You know, accidents are going to happen. People drive too fast, they're distracted when they're driving, but we all have to keep in mind this is a brand new Detroit. A lot of pedestrians, lots of bicycles and bicycle lanes, and yes, the queue line. It all takes some getting used to. The damage relatively minor, as were the injuries to a man on a city bus and 2 people in a car hit by the bus as the car's driver negotiated around a queue line train stopped at Woodward and Canfield. Here's surveillance camera video from across the street. With the train stopped, watch the right side of the screen as the car moves tentatively around the stopped train and the bus nails him. An off-duty EMT was on the bus and helped a fellow passenger.
So he hit the rail when he was standing up. Rushed to help him. Jumped off the bus just to see how the people were in the car. They were okay.
Detroit drivers are still getting used to the idea of these trains running up and down Woodward. Here's a guy parked on the track. After a couple of minutes, he saw the train coming and smartly pulled away. Detroiters are still adjusting to trains on the street.
I feel like the drivers and bikers around here are relatively smart. I know people talk about how big of a pain it is for drivers to avoid the queue line, but for me it's just about finding good public transportation for the people of the city.
Well, baby steps. We're growing with public transportation. Here's one of the challenges. You can see these cars right here. The tracks are in an actual lane, and cars have to remember there's a train there that can't go around you. You have to go around him. Thankfully, the injuries were minor. We're all going to keep learning to handle all the new congestion downtown. Guys, back to you.
Steve, is queue line back up and running then?
Yeah, it was shut down for about an hour and a half this afternoon. On the whole system was, because they don't have that many cars running. But yeah, it's up and running again now. Everything is back to business as usual.
Good to hear. All right, Steve. Let's move back now to the tragedy in Texas that is being felt deeply in northern Michigan. Michigan natives Robert and Shani Corrigan were among the 26 people killed by Devin Kelly on Sunday. Corrigan's from the town of Harrison up in Clare County, and you are looking right now live at what's going on at a special candlelight vigil for the couple at the Veterans Freedom Park there in Harrison. The family chose Veterans Freedom Park because Robert was an Air Force retiree. The couple have 2 boys. Their 2 sons are currently on active duty. Let's listen in.
One story I remember is he was like maybe 5 minutes late for school, but he just ran 15 miles to get there because that's what he did. And I think if any legacy can be left by them, it's that they had this love that lasted years and years and years. And that he served our country, and their children serve our country, and Shani stood by him.
As you can hear, we've got people who are participating in the ceremony there, just talking about their memories of the family. We'll continue to follow that. We'll have more coming up from Harrison at 6 o'clock. Karen?
The first Tuesday in November is Election Day, and here we are getting ready to go to the polls tomorrow. And on the east side of Macomb County, they're getting ready to roll out some brand new election technology. Business editor Rod Maloney has a preview of what voters can expect.
So the lawn signs will go up in the morning. You'll get your ballot here, go to your regular polling place and do your voting. But the new equipment that's been installed now is going to streamline the end game.
The new voting systems rolling out in 9 Macomb cities are supposed to bring a 2-fold improvement in efficiency and accuracy. The first is a system for the disabled using menus and prompts and specialized keypads that have Braille writing on them. The machine walks and talks the voter through the process. Then you will find the express vote system. In most polling places, there will only be one, but it allows you to make a ballot using the same kinds of prompts. St. Clair Shores City Clerk Mary Kotowski demonstrates.
You can do a write-in, and so if I put me, the voter would type in their choice, a name for a valid write-in. You pick candidates. The nice thing is it won't let you overvote.
Rich Steenland, Roseville's city clerk, tells us that a new computer modem system makes the vote count at the county clerk's office move along a whole lot faster.
In the past, we would have to wait for everybody to get their machine back. I would have to translate the number or transfer the numbers to the county. This way here, I'm telling you, you're going to be able to see the election results before me.
The absentee ballots continue coming in, and they need to be counted. And they're using a third new computer system to handle them. Of course, seeing computers of this sophistication in an election raises eyebrows about the possibility of hacking.
We know our programs for this election have never been placed online, so they couldn't be hacked because there was not that capability.
Now, one of the things that is likely to happen tomorrow for most voters in Macomb County is you may not even see these machines because you'll get your paper ballot, you fill in the bubbles, and you turn them in, and they'll get put into that system. Whether you watch or not is your choice. But if you want to use that specific machine, there's only going to be one. You may have to wait in line to be able to use it. But if you want to, certainly you'll have the opportunity. Back to you.
Well, Rod, if the computers aren't connected to the internet, what digital technology is moving the process along quicker?
Well, it's interesting because they have sort of a scanning capability with it. So what you do is that half ballot that you saw get put in there, they put that in blank. And then you make your vote, and once you do all of that, the computer sees all of that and then prints it out and hands it back to you and puts it into the system. And that way, it reduces the number of spoiled ballots. And that's how it moves things along much quicker.
All right, thank you. Rod Maloney live for us tonight.
As President Trump continues his Asia trip, the focus back in Washington and all over the country is on the mass shooting in Texas, but also the latest developments in the Russia investigation. Blaine Alexander has more from Capitol Hill. Blaine?
Well, Devin, President Trump has called for all flags to be flown at half-staff to honor the victims, but he stopped short of calling for a policy change to help stop shootings like this in the future.
President Trump overseas but dealing with another mass shooting back home, this time in Texas. But unlike his call for tougher immigration laws right after the New York terror attack, President Trump shying away from talk of tougher gun laws.
This isn't a guns situation. I mean, we could go into it, but it's a little bit soon to go into it. This is a mental health problem at the highest level.
But earlier this year, he rolled back an Obama-era regulation that made it harder for mentally ill people to buy guns, signed after the shooting at Sandy Hook. Meanwhile, new developments in the Russia investigation. Former Trump campaign officials Paul Manafort and Rick Gates in court today, both deemed flight risks and ordered to remain under house arrest with ankle bracelets. This as Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross denies reports that he hid business ties with Russia.
I think is just an example of the press trying to find anything they can, however remote or silly, to attack the president and somehow link him to Russia.
There ought to be hearings, and if he fails to provide a convincing and compelling explanation, he ought to resign.
And NBC News exclusively reporting federal investigators have enough evidence to charge former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn and his son as part of the Russia investigation.
And if Flynn is charged, he would be the first current or former White House official to face charges in the Russia probe. At the White House, Blaine Alexander, Local 4.
All right, Blaine. Meanwhile, President Trump is resting after a busy Monday meeting with Japanese government leaders. The president announced the U.S. is going to conduct a major arms sale to Japan and said the deal will give Japanese defense forces the ability to shoot down any missiles that might be fired from North Korea. All last week, the local forecasters said that Sunday's best risk for severe weather would be south of the state line.
And we are fortunate that the way things turned out. Ben's here with a look, though, at some very bad storm damage in Ohio.
Yeah, just because the leaves are off the trees does not mean that we are immune to severe weather. It happens down south a lot this time of year, and that got awfully close to us this weekend. Severe storms pounded parts of Indiana and Ohio, and what you're seeing here is the damage from Salina, Ohio, which is in the western part of the state, just a couple counties southeast of Fort Wayne, Indiana. The Weather Service rated that tornado as an EF2 with winds between 111 and 135 miles per hour. It damaged or destroyed everything in its path, including homes and businesses. Fortunately, nobody was killed, and the 8 people who suffered injuries are all expected to recover, so that's good news. So let's look at the radar from Sunday, and we're going to start in close. It's a little difficult to tell, but it's this cell that's just off to the northwest of Lima, and as this thing develops, first it spawns the tornado, and then the wider shot, you can see it just start to bow out as those wind speeds really started to pick up, and it caused some damage, even spawned some more tornadoes in parts of northeast Ohio. So we did dodge a bullet over the weekend, and unfortunately, I should say, it's just cold that we have to look forward to from here. Guys?
Oh, looking forward to it. You're exactly right.
Pick your poison.
That's
right?
exactly,
right.
yeah, I know.
Thank you, Ben.
Well, Starbucks may be closing their Teavana stores, but that hasn't given up the brand.
That's right. Starbucks is selling its Tezo tea brand to Unilever for nearly $400 million and focusing all of its tea efforts on the Teavana brand. While Tezo logged $112 million in sales over the last 12 months, Teavana recorded $1.6 billion over the same time period. Starbucks says the goal is to build Teavana into a $3 billion business over the next 5 years. A man faces murder charges near Las Vegas after police say he shot and killed his 14-year-old son, possibly because he was gay.
Dozens of high schoolers gathered last night trying to understand how this happened to one of their friends. Police say 53-year-old Wendell Melton got into an argument with his son, Giovanni, leading to his death. Giovanni's friends and foster mother say his father did not like the fact that his son was gay. The Detroit branch of the Vietnam Veterans of America paid tribute today to one of their own. Today, Michigan native and Medal of Honor winner James McLaughlin.
McLaughlin was an Army medic in Vietnam back in '69 when he saved the lives of 10 soldiers. For that, he was given the Medal of Honor this year. Michigan Senator Gary Peters recalled an event earlier this year honoring McLaughlin at the Pentagon.
I think the most powerful moment was when many of the members of his unit who were saved as a result of his actions stood up, and then all of their family, their children, their grandchildren, they would not be alive today if it wasn't for Doc. This is truly an incredible man, and he deserves the honor he's getting today.
Michigan Senators Peters and Debbie Stabenow helped pass legislation waiving a time-limited requirement to make it possible for McLaughlin to receive the Medal of Honor.
Well, let's just say that Justin Verlander's has had an epic week, wouldn't you say?
To say the least.
Pretty good.
New tonight, what the former Tiger did over the weekend, just days after winning the World Series.
Also, an extremely dangerous suspect makes an escape from custody. What police are now saying as a murder suspect is back on the run. Doc?
Well, there's a hidden benefit to getting your flu shot this year. I'll show you how the shot can help protect you from a lot more than even the flu. That's next in Good Health.
Experiment is when we, yes.
There's something special going on in this school.
They're really helpful.
A mission that's improving grades and morale.
The kids have done great.
You could call it a Peace Corps program in our own country.
So I feel like this is a stepping stone.
Find out what's going on here that so many other schools want to join. Tomorrow at 5.
The Chip. New at 6.
After the horrific incident that happened in Texas yesterday, local churches now questioning their own security.
Even with this, the church cannot just fold up or close its doors.
What is being done and what can be done to prevent that horrible tragedy from happening here at home.
Plus, if you're feeling a little off today, you're not alone. It could be a case of the time change blues. New at 6, the problems that come with the end of daylight saving time and how to fight back.
You were not enjoying looking at the darkness in the live shots.
I know. I said, look how dark it is outside.
Michelle, same with our floor director, Michelle. In Good Health, fall is the time of year to get your annual flu vaccine.
And while the primary goal of a flu shot is to help stop the spread of the flu, it can also help prevent other very serious illnesses. Dr. McGeorge is here with the additional benefit to the vaccine.
Exactly, Karen and Devin. You know, when you get the flu, fighting the virus, it challenges your immune system in various parts of your body. In particular, it weakens your lungs and your respiratory tract's natural defense against bacteria, opening you up to one of the most serious complications, pneumonia.
It's important to know that even very healthy people can become ill and even die of bacterial pneumonia after they had influenza.
Bacterial pneumonia can develop after someone has suffered a case of the flu. The typical pattern of illness begins with flu-like symptoms, including chills, aches, and fever. After a few days, the person will begin to get better, but they'll suddenly develop a higher fever, cough up phlegm, and feel short of breath. Pneumonia is confirmed when a person develops these characteristic symptoms and a chest X-ray shows white, opaque spots on the lungs. It's critical to seek medical help quickly if you suspect that you or a loved one may have pneumonia, which often brings the very young and the elderly into the hospital. And it can be especially dangerous to people with underlying medical conditions. Also, even people who are perfectly healthy can become very ill and even die from influenza or pneumonia. The best way to protect yourself from pneumonia is to be proactive and get your annual flu shot as soon as you can.
It's really wise to take influenza vaccine as soon as it's available. It does take 2 to 3 weeks for antibodies to rise to a protective level after vaccination.
Now, while the flu is not treated with antibiotics, bacterial pneumonia is. So it's really important to get care as soon as possible for any pneumonia symptoms. And incidentally, often the bacteria that causes the pneumonia is one that is already living on your body. It's just taking advantage of the weakness from the flu. And the flu shot, just to be clear, is not the same as the pneumonia vaccine. The Pneumovax is something that's very different, that's used to specifically immunize you against the bacteria that most commonly causes pneumonia.
And it's never too late to get the flu shot.
Not really, but there is a point in the flu season where your bang for the buck is pretty low.
Okay.
Get on it. All right, done.
Well, it was a home run of a week for former Detroit Tiger Justin Verlander.
Just a few days after earning his first World Series ring, he added a wedding ring to the collection. You may have noticed he missed the Astros victory parade. Bernie said it was because he and Kate Upton were in Italy getting married, and there's a photo of the nuptials from JV's Instagram page, accompanied the post with the caption, "Happy wife, happy life." What an amazing beginning to our journey together.